Hello and welcome to the Peno channel. I'm Peno. Thanks for joining us. I'm here with my bro. Before we start and get into the match preview for Aston Villa versus Sheffield United on Friday, if you could like the stream, if you're new around here, if you could drop a subscription, and also after the stream's done, if you'd like to drop a comment about what your thoughts and feelings are on what we've discussed in the stream. As I said, I'm joined by my bro. How you doing, bro? And you're looking forward to the game on Friday?
Yeah, I'm good, bro. Still enjoying that Brentford win. I thought it was a crazy game. I
Christmas
feel like
is
the
here.
neutrals. I feel like the neutrals missed out on like one of the best games of the season. To be honest, like it had everything. So yeah, looking forward to Friday and quick turnaround. So yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, we watched that game back a few days ago, and yeah, it was quite a game for the neutrals. Looking back on it, we played a lot better than I remembered, and especially in the first half. And all bodes well for Friday. Yeah, so let's start looking at this one. A lot of people look at it and say this is a banker. This is 16 games in a row, home win. But football doesn't work like that, as we all know. Sheffield United haven't won away from home this season. Villa haven't dropped a point at home this season. So it has all the makings of a banana skin or something to happen in this game, just based on, how football works and how storylines can be created. What are your thoughts and feelings going into this one regarding the game? And yeah, how you feeling about the opposition?
I feel like this team hasn't really given us a reason not to be confident as fans. So
Yeah,
I hear all the stats and all that kind of stuff, and I just think like this team's a bit different when it comes to that kind of thing. I remember like when we played Luton at home, like similar stats were being put up, and we just dismantled them. So you can't be complacent. Obviously, in the Prem, every game's hard, and that sound like a player doing an interview or something. But I do think we'll get the win, and I do think if we play how we know we can play, then we are the better team. So yeah, we just gotta play our game, play the high line well, and I think we'll be fine. What about you?
yeah. Just going into this one, it's a huge incentive for all the players. That's the big thing, to go top of the league for however long it may be. It may only be what, 12 hours, maybe a bit more than that. Well, a bit longer than about 16, 17 hours. But it may only be that. But to have the incentive and the opportunity to go top of the league, and possibly be top at Christmas, all dependent on the game at Anfield, is huge. And I think that's a big thing we can take from this. We have the home record, but there's no room for complacency at all, because we need to be pushing on, and Emery will drill that into his players, whoever plays. And I think there might be a number of changes just through injury alone, and we'll get onto that. But yeah, it's just an opportunity for a lot of players who haven't been top of the league in their careers, or you know, who really want to be playing Champions League football next season. This is a huge opportunity to just get ahead, keep extending, especially when you have a City side who are away, who won't be playing a number of games due to being at the Club World Cup. It's just a great opportunity to just extend an advantage on the City, and the other teams who play later on the weekend. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. Villa Park, night game, no better atmosphere for me. It's always really, really good in the crowd and at the game. And with what we're playing for, what we have the opportunity to do, I'm sure the fans will be well up for it, and the atmosphere will be just like it was against City and Arsenal. So yeah, let's have a look at the opposition first and have a look into that. Obviously, they started off with Paul Higginbottom, and they had a barren of real poor results. In the last five, they've only won one. Obviously, Paul Higginbottom lost his job, and Chris Wilder stepped in, a man who we saw a lot of in the Premier League. Was the first person we saw in the league all those seasons ago who used the centre backs as overlapping and underlapping in the shape and getting them really high. I used to remember Chris Basham and John Egan getting really high up into the box, with the use of Baldock as the one fullback, and John Lundstrom, if he played FPL around those times, he was a big, big player in the game. So they used to use their back five shape and get the two centre backs really far forward, which is really interesting. Something really innovative from Chris Wilder at the time. Obviously, they went down and Chris Wilder left during that season, and they came back up. And Paul Higginbottom was really struggling to get it going with Sheffield United. Obviously, they sold, seeing a Sanderberg leave, probably a really big player and one of the most well-known players for Sheffield United leaving and going to Burnley, who you would see as a direct competition to stay in the league. It did seem like they possibly were not really attacking their opportunity in the Premier League this season. They've signed, a big Gustavo Hamer, who are really rated at Cardiff, thought was an excellent player. Nearly got Cardiff promoted, quality player in the Championship. And also they signed the man from Bloxwich, Cameron Archer, the Villa Academy boy. A lot of people in the fan base, myself included, had high hopes for Cameron Archer within
Yeah.
Villa, and the board and Emery and everyone felt it, deemed it possible that we could let him go to Sheffield United. Now there is some form of clause in those rumours that potentially Sheffield United get relegated and come straight back, but we're not to know the exact details. But Cameron Archer playing for Sheffield United. He'll want to make an impact tomorrow, on Friday, that's for sure, because he'll want to show what we're missing out on. And he has a very good platform to do that on Friday. If he was the one to upset Villa's winning run, I'm sure he'll have that on his mind. But Paul Higginbottom didn't work. Chris Wilder's come back in now. I've seen him today state that, there's no point getting on the team bus if they don't have any thoughts or feelings that they can get a victory from the game. So he'll be trying to get them up for it. Their one win came against Brentford at home. But then in that spell as well, they lost 5-0 away to Burnley. So, Sheffield United, they'll be looking to pick up any scraps they can. And we'll go into more detail about how they play. But what are your thoughts on, how it was going under Paul Higginbottom, Chris Wilder coming in, and, the likes of Archer coming up against us?
Yeah, I'll just speak on that Wilder interview today. I mean, I was loving hearing him like real life our stats and how good we are and stuff like that. So it's just mad to hear like other teams now see us as this like place to go, where it's just like, okay, we know we're going to be in for a game. It's probably a miracle if we leave with any kind of result. Similar to how like people speak about the Etihad. So it's just nice to like hear your club be spoken about like that. I think it was the right decision to get rid of Heckingbottom. I think it probably should have come through now. The worst team in the league on eye test and on all the underlying stats as well. It's not like they were getting unlucky with results, like they deserved all the losses they were getting. So I think it was the right time. Wilder's an interesting choice. I guess it's a comfort thing with the owners, so they know him, he knows the club, etc. His first 3 games, he's still yet to get 1 XG in a game, so they're not creating a crazy amount of chances, but they have played Liverpool and Chelsea in that spell. It's hard. They got a good win against Brentford as well, and they defended well in that game as well. So man, I think Chelsea did kind of batter them a bit. I mean, you watched the game, you said they did get some joy, but they didn't really create that much. And I think the way they're going to set up, they're going to be quite deep. Their average positions in that Chelsea game, Brooks, Hammer, McBurney, McAtee, all close together, but he was on like the halfway line. Trusty was like really deep, like he was deeper than anyone else. So, and like Archer was like playing as like a left mid. It was weird. So I think
he was operating as a left mid, left wing back,
yeah.
because he went into like a 6 at times with a 3 in the middle, and then just Oliver McBurney up top on his own. So they really set into a shape on a basis like past the halfway in their own half and just in front of the box. And they were at times against Chelsea, they were just very extremely camped in their own half.
So that's what it's going to be like.
Similar. Yeah,
that's what similar. If any Villa fans did manage to watch the Brentford game that we played second half, I think that's what the game's shape's going to be like. Yeah. And I'm just hoping. I know we'll touch on injuries later. I'm just hoping Powell's fine, and Powell and Carlos can play, because they're the guys. For me, your goals come from your build-up play and your defenders and your defenders' ability to pass and break through the line. So hopefully, them 2 guys are fit, because they're our main guys for that kind of thing.
Yeah, facts. Michael's joined us, says good evening. Good evening, Michael. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, I agree. I think Sheffield United will really sit back in their shape and just look to get us on transition and just hope for the best against us.
Set pieces,
set will be a big deal. Yeah, they've got a lot of big men within the side. Yeah, it'd be interesting because it will just the onus will be on us, as we've had against many teams, to break them down. A lot of teams have come to Villa and tried to catch us on tradition, and we've been able to break them down quite comfortably. This has been going on since Emery's been at the club. So yeah, I think it will be within our tools if we can do that. As you stated, I think ball playing centre backs need to be starting. Hopefully, Powell's fit and available and ready to go.
Because he limped off, didn't he? We saw on the game, watching back,
Yeah,
he limped off.
exactly.
He was
Yeah,
from a challenge with Wissa, where
yeah,
he
but
made.
yeah, he did indeed, and it was weird because he got that injury about 20 minutes before that, and then when he came off eventually, he did limp off. So
Yeah, so it
yeah,
might have been adrenaline he was playing through, and then when he came off, he just felt it because his whole demeanour changed.
possibly,
Going off the bench.
possibly. But yeah, as you stated, if you watch the Brentford game back, in that second half, even before Ben Mee got the red card, we were virtually in their half the whole of the game, and
Yeah,
Powell, Carlos, and Esri were playing exactly on the halfway line, and I think it will be a similar shape and similar game. Talking about us, it's been the training pictures today. There was no Powell, no Tielemans, and no
Bailey was it?
Bailey in training today.
Yeah, so unless Bailey's doing like separate recovery for now and he's just easing it in, because we have to remember he didn't start against Brentford. He came on for 30 minutes, was it?
Yeah.
So I hope Bailey's fine because it's going to be key to us winning the game Friday if we want to. So
yeah, exactly.
Tielemans as well.
Yeah. Andy's joined us. Evening, Mike. He says, even to you, Andy. Thanks for joining the chat as well.
Yeah, talking to you there.
Thought bring it up anyway. Michael goes, early goal would be great, yeah. And
facts.
that's how, against a lot of teams who have come and had the idea of setting up shop and sitting in their shape, we've got an early goal quite a lot of times, and it's enabled us to then play, comfortably, keeping the ball and not having to rush and speed the game up. It will be very interesting how we set up, especially with the absentees so far from training if they're not available. With Boubacar Kamara also out as well. How do you see us setting up?
Yeah, I just want to speak on. So you want me to go through how we set up? Okay, yeah. So I think it will be McGinn probably playing that role again. And then ideally it will be Konza playing as the right centre back, and Bailey would be like the wing back type in that role, and then you'd have Ramsey and Diaby as the 2 10s, and then Watkins up front with Luiz next to McGinn, Carlos in the middle, Powell left centre back, Moreno the other side. So that's how I'd like us to ideally line up. But yeah, what about you? Let me go through the team. So sorry. Just the team will be Martinez, Moreno, Powell, Carlos Konza, Ramsey, Luiz, McGinn, Bailey, Watkins, Diaby. That would be the team I'd want to see.
Yeah, I like that team. I really like that team. That's a team I'd like to see, but I can see Emery probably going, Digne possibly coming in from Moreno. I think that, if Parr's not available, say for instance Parr's not available, do you bring in Matty Cash or do you play Lenglet? Just say
It's got to be Lenglet, but this is what I was gonna.
I think
this is what I was gonna. But this is the thing with Lenglet now. Fabrizio's tweeted like almost an hour ago saying he thinks it's likely that Lenglet is going to go in January. So are we going to now risk him playing a game if it's already been agreed on that he goes to Milan, which he's just not ideal. I find it hilarious the time. And like Powell's injured, Lenglet could finally get his first game and now he wants to go. It's like,
I think you play him. That's no skin off our back. Yeah, that's not. That's no skin off our back whatsoever.
Yeah, but I agree with you. 100% agree with you, and I have the same view. But my thing is, it's also no skin of our back to allow him to leave and terminate the loan. But from what Fab's saying, it seems like we're gonna do it. So it's just annoying. I don't know if there's any they're trying to keep good relations with Barca or whatever. But I want to keep Lenglet, man. He's the perfect he's the perfect defender to Pau Torres. He can pass, he can carry the ball, and he's got that experience. So yeah, I'm a bit gutted if he does leave.
Yeah, so
Personally.
I'd be good. I'd be gutted if he leaves because I think he's, in terms of backup and understudy to Pau Torres, I think he's the ideal, like nigh on perfect defender in terms of his statistically and how he plays with the ball. He's very good on the ball as well. So yeah, if Pau wasn't available, I'd like to see Lenglet come in.
Yeah,
Then
I
keep
don't think. Sorry, sorry to cut you off, bro, but I just don't think Cash deserves to start after Brentford.
No, I didn't think Cash had a good game against Brentford. No, I agree. I think he lost the ball a number of times in areas where you can't really lose it. And, when you're trying to build up, there was some touches he had which were very poor. So yeah, I don't think I don't see Cash starting anyway, to be honest. I don't. I
No,
think because we're at home, gives us the opportunity to, instead playing with a defensive-minded right mid or right wing back, we can play with a more offensive right wing back and still be happy in the knowledge that we have enough, centre backs to cover anything that comes through the transition. So yeah, I can see you and I going a bit more attacking in that sense, and if Bailey's available, starting a Bailey on that side. If Bailey and Tillemans aren't available as well, then we've said Lenglet coming in for Pau Torres. How do you
but
see the midfield?
I wouldn't start Tillemans anyway, though, if he's available personally.
Yeah, so okay, so if Bailey's not available, then what would you do then?
Yeah, that's hard. I think Zaniolo starts then, wouldn't he?
Yeah, you play Zaniolo.
I
Or would
think
you
I think
go Watkins, Duran, and play Diaby off that side?
maybe. Yeah, maybe. Probably
Because
that instead, actually.
yeah, because I think Duran, the times he's come on for Villa, he's really been really good. And the thing is, if you're playing against sides, so say against Brentford, for instance, when he came on, Brentford had an Ethan Pinnock, Nathan Collins, Ben Mee for the time he was on the pitch. That's big centre backs in size and stature. And with Duran coming on, it just offers an extra, threat who can match them physically. And I think Sheffield United will be similar in that sense. And with Duran on the pitch, he can cause more chaos within the box, within the areas, also offering to make the runs. Yeah, I'd like to see Duran start alongside Watkins. I think that would be really good.
Yeah, I think it's a great point. Honestly. Like Duran, I think he's a great player when he comes on. I think he had that one passage against Brentford where he almost feints to receive the ball, beats his man, and gets a shot off. And he was reminiscent of Benteke, man. I don't want to big up Duran too much, but like you can see little things. I don't want to compare him to him just yet, but you can see just little things in his play, man. Where for 19, is he 19 or 2? I think he's 20 now, but
yeah,
it's
just
just
turned
it's
20.
good to see, man. And Duran's only going to get better, man, under one of the best coaches in the world. So
Yeah,
yeah,
facts. Andy says, "Evening, Penno and Adam." Yeah, cheers, Andy. Thanks for joining us. Charlie, yes, boys. Thanks for joining us, Charlie. Andy says, "I actually think Digne starts ahead of Moreno." Yeah, I think he does as well. Yeah, so from there, I think we have enough. Even if there's a few players not available, there's enough in the squad to cope with that. And I wouldn't be surprised if there are a number of changes from the side that played Brentford, not even just because of personnel not being available. Predictions then? How do you think it's going to go?
I think we'll win 3-1.
You told my score. That's the exact score I was going to say. 3-1.
Yeah.
Yeah. Facts. That's how I was feeling it will go. Yeah. Thoughts on Cameron coming back? How do you think his move's gone from Sheffield United, like going to Sheffield United, and you're looking forward to seeing him back? And do you think if that clause is possibly a thing, do you think he can still offer something at Villa if that were to be the case, if Sheffield United were to go down?
First, I'll answer your first question that you asked me about how I think his move's gone. I think it's genuinely one of the hardest things to be a striker in that Sheffield United team on the hecking bottom. I mean, they weren't creating any XG. He was doing like running channels, playing long ball, and having to hold it up on his own against like one or two defenders. It's not his game. It's not really ideal. He still managed to score. He got nominated for Goal of the Month somehow, with a great finish against Wolves.
Yeah.
Yeah, the move's not ideal. I think he'll get more service under Wilder though. I think that's probably a better move stylistically for him and the football they play. But
Yeah.
I felt a bit sorry for him actually, the way it's gone so far. in terms of what I think at Villa, well, looking at his Middlesbrough stint, he was always getting chances there, and that was a team that was suited to creating chances, and he put up the numbers that our recruitment wanted to see at the time. So yeah, never say never with Archer. I do think Duran is slightly better and has a higher ceiling potential wise than Archer,
Yeah,
but I
yeah,
wouldn't 100% write off his Villa career. No way.
yeah.
But,
If that's the clause is the case, and there is an automatic buyback if the Sheffield United were to go down, and that there's a lot of hypotheticals in there. But yeah, I think for the games I have seen him, I think he's been their best player in a number of games I've seen him. And when he's playing in the two alongside McBurney, because
yeah,
I think since Wilder's in, they've kind of gone into a three. Archer's retreated a bit more, and he's in line more with Gustavo Hamer just behind McBurney. But with the times when they were in a 3-5-2 and he was actually alongside McBurney, because McBurney was able to hold it off and lay off, he was getting into good areas. And although he wasn't having as many chances as as I say, he was in the Championship and that, he was having a few shots which we know were testing the goalkeeper. Had scored a great goal against Everton, and then the own goal as well, another great goal against Wolves. So he is a striker. If you get him in the right positions, he scores goals. He will score goals because he's shooting and his ability to find the target is right up there. But
yeah.
it's just about what else he offers around the pitch, and with a side that's struggling, you are limited to the amount of chances you are going to get. So yeah, you could see in another team or at a Villa, you'd get a lot more goals.
I just hope he ain't on it tomorrow, man.
Yeah,
Or
that's for
Friday,
sure.
sorry, Friday.
Just
But
hopefully it's
I think he'll get a good. I
series.
think he'll get a good reception. I think he'll get clapped
For sure,
3
100%.
and 4 times. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm
A
sure
few
he's excited.
predictions here. Michael says 3-0 Villa. Andy agrees with him, 3-0 Villa. Yeah, I can see that happening. And what a result it would be if we go into, Christmas.
I
Well,
just want
before
to.
Saturday top, and possibly with the chance of going into Christmas top of the league.
I just want to sing the song once, man. Just let me have that once. Them ones. I just want to bout it out in the whole end and leave the stadium as well, not having to worry later in the night. Oh, we're not even top anymore.
Yeah,
Let me
yeah,
sleep on Villa being top. Like which one?
yeah, just have one night's sleep.
But it's
No,
mad looking at the table now. Before Liverpool played on the weekend, it's just like Arsenal, Aston Villa. I was just like, is this the start of the season or something? Like, when do you ever see us two like that close together, that high? I thought that was funny as well.
Yeah, facts for sure. Any more news you want to get stuck into? Or
Yeah. Chris Heck, what did you think of his little interview this week that he did? He said he'd sat back and not spoken for 6 months. He wanted to get used to what Villa's like, what the fans like, what the environment's like at Villa, and how things work. So, what did you think of his little interview that he did?
and Mr. Heck. I think from stating that and saying that he's, that's the right approach to take if you're coming into a club and you're not aware. Chris Heck, he's worked in America, so he has to gain an understanding of the sport firstly, and then the English culture around the sport, and supporting your football club in England. So for him to state that, I think that's a good thing that he sat back on it. The decisions made, I think I can see the logic behind them, especially not knocking the North Stand down. If the club see themselves, and the form we're in currently, there's a high. Well, I'm not even going to jinx it. There's a potential to play Champions League football. I'm going to retract what I say. There's a potential to be playing Champions League football next season. So if we did do that, having 3 stands it's not the best, is it? It's not the best look at all. You want the full atmosphere there for if we were to be going into, something that's been uncharted territory for a long time, for a long, long time. And Champions League, European football, European Cup we have been, but actual Champions League, it's not part of our history like that. So yeah, I think that's the right decision. On what basis the decision's been made, if it's just that, or it's more potential revenue from being in those competitions, the prices they can possibly charge for being in those positions, and it's confirmed bums on seats. It might be looked at that angle instead of knocking it down, having a loss on the revenue. And yeah, whether the development will take place, we'll have to wait and see. He stated that it will be taking place before Euro 2028, and it's not on the back burner, or there's no potential for a new stadium. But things can change in football. So as we saw with Perslow and the many announcements he had about the advances with the stadium, so I'm not going to hold out on that being complete and that statement being factual. We'll just have to wait and see on that. But I do understand the reason for why they're not going ahead with knocking down the North Stand in the near future. What are your thoughts with it?
I just thought if you wanted to, that was an interesting comment from Charlie that I hadn't thought about. If you wanted to get that one up.
Yeah, I'll get it up now. For me, it just strikes as a protection against the instability of the construction industry. Don't want to be in a position where North Stand is knocked down with no one to build the new one. Yeah, facts. Also, with the council as well, Birmingham Council, has recently gone to bankruptcy. So the infrastructure around the ground as well, there's potential lack of investment regarding that. There's been a number of calls for the Britain Station to be upgraded and stuff like that, and the council within the area potentially doesn't have the funds for that to take place. So where do you go from there? Charlie says, I think the form stuff is just a bit of PR when it's more likely a business move assessing risk of likely outcomes of punting on a contractor now. Yeah, I think it's more business orientated rather than the Champions League reason. But that's a reason he can use to the fans,
Yeah,
and they'd be satisfied with it.
it's smart. I hadn't really thought about that point that Charlie made about the contractors, and that I think it's a good point. It's probably the more realistic point as well. So yeah, hopefully if we do get Champions League, we don't have to see like a whole stand knocked down. We get the whole atmosphere and that.
Yeah, exactly, and yeah, let's just hope we get there. That's the most important thing, getting there, because it would be such an amazing experience, and to have full capacity for that would be unreal. Regarding the tweet of the AV 150 badge, thoughts around that and
Okay, so
what it signifies?
when I first saw it, yeah, and because the way he tweeted on brand, I thought, no way, this isn't a badge. So when I realized it's not a badge, I thought about it more, and then I said to myself, I'm not the biggest fan of the lettering. Like, it kind of looked like a Cadbury's, like a chocolate bar type advert. But then I realized if you look on the whole, it's the spiral that's taken from the is it like, what would you call that, bro? Like just the textiles on the whole end.
Yeah,
it's the spiral. It's the spiral next to the badge. So yeah, so I thought that was quite nice how he's interpreted that. Because he's got it as his Twitter header. So
as his header, the mosaic
so
of the top of the hole.
Yeah, he's taking his time. So then when I thought about it more, I've realized it's probably just going to be like a thing to go on the back of the t-shirt.
Yeah,
like a little dedication. So I don't mind it. What I do love is the cream that was used. Now, I've wanted a cream away Aston Villa kit for years. So if this means like we could potentially get a cream kit, or that cream colour is going to be used more, I'm all for it. The brown,
I like the tone of the colours. I did like the colours.
It's a bit more brown, isn't it, than
claret. Yeah, it is.
See,
but
me personally, I like the purple. I like when Villa use purple. Like, obviously, remember like when Merce was there. Obviously, I can't really remember that at all. But the kits that were used, looking back, like that, those purple kits, I kind of like those type of Villa kits. But the maroon, I wouldn't be against seeing that maybe one time. But yeah, I think if that's just a little thing to go on the back, and I like the fact that they're taking time to commemorate the 150. Like, it seems like a lot of effort's gone into it.
Yeah, facts. Michael says it makes sense, to be honest. With regards to the Euros, Villa really won't make much money out of it. Yeah, totally agree with that. Charlie, looks like a logo they'll use to brand the campaign to celebrate our 150th anniversary. Yeah. Michael, it's done in an old English font from the time period. Yeah.
You can tell a lot of insight went into it. I think Chris Heck's
definitely
quite big on it.
Yeah. Amir says, big up, Penno. Thanks for joining, Amir. Liverpool fan joining, so really appreciate it. He goes, as a Liverpool fan, we're not ready for the title this season. Arsenal doesn't have a proper striker, so Villa win the league, in my opinion. Just need to fix their away form.
Listen, the away form is results-wise, man.
I know, yeah. So we're currently 6th in the table for away form now. So we've made an improvement with that Brentford win. We're just taking it as it comes at the minute. I don't think we're in a title race, but to win it, it's a long way away.
We're jogging, isn't it? We're jogging. We're power walking.
We're power walking. I'd say we're power walking. but an
My,
extremely aggressive pace right now.
my whole thing is Champions League now has to be a must. That has to be a must. And then if we're still there when it comes crunch time, then I'll start thinking about it. I think I came on the podcast after the Arsenal game. I was just like, let's talk about we're in a title race, man. What more? I think I calmed down a bit. I'm not like Emi Martinez, and he's won a World Cup.
I think yeah. After the Man City game, as I was speaking on emotion, yeah. So yeah, you have time to come back down to earth a little bit, but you can always dream, man. You can't hold that against us. And when you've got players coming out, Dougie was on the stream the other day. It's Twitch stream saying, "Of course we can win the title." Emi saying we're in the title race. Unai saying before playing City and Arsenal, if we beat them both, we're in the title race. So if the players and staff believe, then fans are definitely allowed to believe.
Just to speak on Luis again, Fabrizio again tweeting about how he's their Arsenal's preferential midfield. Listen, it doesn't matter what midfield you prefer. Stop begging it. Stop trying to put our players.
He must get some money from them interactions on Twitter.
He must get some other foolishness about Arsenal, like Jacob Ramps. Like, shut up, man. Stop trying to put off our players and distract us, man. Like, what is this foolishness I'm reading? Jacob Ramps, shut up, man. Focus on yourself.
Exactly. And it's like, okay, if there was new information, fair enough. But he's tweeting stuff that says no change. So what are you doing?
From November, yeah.
You're just tweeting for the money. You underhand tactics.
Listen, our local journalist needs to start saying we like Saliba. Like we might want a defender or something. Like
Percy, Colonist, John Tarley, Tanzwa.
Tanzwa, man, just put out a tweet saying that rubbish. We like how Odegaard's playing at the moment, man. We might fancy him.
Yeah, get under their skin, because I swear it's just obviously it's either it's a Kia Jarabshin or someone with an Arsenal who's pally with Fabrizio. It has to be. Because there's no other reason for him to be tweeting it. And he also goes, and Villa will easily win the Conference League again.
Hopefully.
We are currently favourites, but yeah, football never goes directly to plan, but let's hope so. And he says, isn't anything wrong with our away form? People just jumping on the bandwagon. Yeah, of course, because the home form was so good, there had to be a reason for why we weren't 6 points clear. Because if the away form was as good as people want it to be, we'd be 6 to 9 points clear. So
it's a distinction, isn't it? The away results are amazing. Like, they're so good. Like, just to win, like, is that 3 away games in a row? No, it's 7 points out of the last 3 away games, isn't it? Bournemouth,
Spurs,
and Brentford. Yeah, I just think the performances could be better. If we start performing and getting results, then it will just be like, wow. But yeah, I agree. The away form results wise is perfect. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. So.
Andy, agree with Adam, Champions League is a minimum now.
Yeah, it's got to be. I think
expectations go up, don't they?
Yeah. Listen, your reference points change in a season. It's okay for your expectations to change as results and new information comes. We've got 38 points after 17 games. We're averaging more than 2 points a game. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, we're doing above and beyond what's needed for a Champions League spot in normal seasons. So
average 2 points a game for 39 games.
Yeah, So I think it's
over a season now.
Yeah, I think it's fine for Villa fans to say that Champions League has to happen now. I don't think that's arrogance. I don't think that's getting carried away, or I don't think people should be put down saying, "Oh, remember where we come from" and stuff. Listen, reference points change in the season, and it's okay to say we're never going to get a better chance and have a better start to the season to get Champions League than this season. So yeah, I think that's got to be the minimum now to get that.
Yeah, facts, agree. So anything else?
Yeah, we've been linked to Norwich winger Jonathan Rowe. He got a brace at the weekend in the derby against Ipswich. I think, does he play from the left or the right? This is so bad that I should know this actually, but
I think he plays off the left.
Is it? One second, let me just check this.
I think he plays off the left. You come out and say he plays off the right now.
I'm trying to. This is so unprofessional, man. Jonathan, I'm spelling Jonathan.
Professional. Who do you think we are?
I know. Yeah. Talking about all them journeys, we start to think we are on now. But he's 20 and he's left-footed, but I think he plays off the right.
Okay. Yeah.
Is that what you said?
No, I said plays off the left.
What's that?
But yeah, thoughts on Jonathan Rowe.
Yeah, plays off the right. He's a right winger, left-footed right winger. Like, we don't have any of them. So But yeah, he's what's Charlie? Let's see what Charlie's saying about.
Yeah, we'll do, but we'll get to it. But what are your thoughts on it?
Well, he's impressed me every time I watched him. Like he gets goals, he gets in good positions. He's a creative monster. He's got pace. He's young. He's got room to build. He can develop even more under United. So I like this. Maybe it does kind of feel like a 2021 signing that we'd make them times where we'd look to recruit from Championship and see. But I'll never diss the Championship. There's always talent there. Maybe we could get better with the position we're in, but I wouldn't be mad if we signed him. What about you?
Yeah, facts. Yeah, I wouldn't be. But then Charlie makes a great point, as you say. Huge fan of Jonathan. And only question for me is thinking behind selling Philogene to then buy a very similar player in row with a similar ceiling. Yeah, that was my first thought when I saw the links. I was like, okay, but there's a player who's just as capable who we've just sold to a Championship side who's flying.
Yeah.
So yeah, interesting. And it will probably cost, quadruple the amount. I think they're looking at 20 million plus. We sold Philogene for 5, so yeah, that bit doesn't make sense to me.
But I really do think a winger is going to be what Unai want. Whether it's going to be a winger that he also can use to play right back and right mid, like someone that's versatile like that, instead of just signing a right back that's traditionally a right back that can go forward. What about people haven't thought about is if he signs a winger who he then wants to use as a right back. So I think someone with pace, someone with athleticism, someone that can beat their man 1v1, that's going to be the target in January. I think that's what we're going to look for, a right-sided player, left-footed, like that. So
yeah. And he says, what outsiders don't understand is that we have been on an upward trajectory for 5 years. This is no flash in the pan. It's just all been up. Few stumbling blocks along the way, one being a certain Scouser, but apart from that, straight back up. And he also says, with our Brentford connections, Watkins, Konza, how about Tony as well? Everyone expects him to go to Arsenal, but there could be a twist. Oh, I'd love Ivan Tony. I don't know how our relationships with Brentford Football Club are after the game on the weekend, but
I don't know. Tony, you got to think Tony will be like what they want, nearly 100 million. That guys said, and he will disrupt Watkins. Like I think it will be evil with Watkins and Tony, and I don't think he'd be our priority. But obviously, he's a quality player.
Yeah, of course, Ivan Tony's quality. Charlie, love Rowe's positional awareness, always drifting into good areas when the attack is on the opposite flank, and good tight dribbling. So he's an absolute player. He's an absolute player.
But I do like those profiles where it's just like someone that's still young, a bit raw, can develop into an even better player.
Yeah, that's got potential to grow.
Most importantly, he's got athleticism. That's what the game's all about now. I want someone that can create separation, get to the byline, cross, all that good stuff.
And he makes a point. That's his price. Arsenal won't be getting him.
Yeah, well, that's
you
why
have to imagine. Yeah, you have to imagine that.
Sorry, Karen.
No, I was going to say you have to imagine it because on FFP restrictions, there's been a lot of money in that recruit and a significant amount. And I know what you're going to say, but go on.
Yeah, just from the reports, they're trying to sell Nketiah, aren't they, for like 40 million? That's how they're going to try and raise their funds and then go all out on either Osimhen or Tony, whether that's summer or January. So yeah, I agree.
I saw also there was talk of them trying to loan him, weren't they? You know what they've done, like with David Raya?
Yeah. So even a loan.
Dodgy, man, that's dodgy. Why Brentford benefiting Arsenal?
I think Brentford would accept Tony and Nketiah sort of deal, with money going to Brentford as well.
Yeah, I think they would as well. I think
Brentford are the type of club that love go
to receive the transfer funds. Yeah. And Mark says, I don't see much happening in January unless it's a target we really want and we'll pay big. I think summer will be big, but we must get top 4. That's the thing. This is when you get into scenarios like this now, it's how much you go for it in January to secure top 4 qualification, or do you play the game of where you wait it out, think there's enough in the squad, and then potentially miss out?
Maybe I'm naive, but I think January is going to be active. I do, man. I think we now have, because we now have to look for a left centre back if Lenglet is going. Mings isn't going to be back till like April, May. So a left centre back's now on the agenda. A right back's on the agenda. A centre mid's on the agenda if then Donker's moved on. And whether the right back and winger is the same position, fair enough. But I think I can see 3 players, man, genuinely. And then there's rumours what Olsen wants to go as well. So, I
But
can see 3 players.
that's the thing with those players who we might see as limited to services or not required as much. It's sometimes difficult to strike deals to get those
Yeah,
players gone. So I think a lot of it will rely on getting players out of the door first
yeah, yeah.
before there's any activity.
You'd like to think these deals would have been worked on since August, and
But you say that, bro, but then how many times you go to a window and you don't see players leaving to the very end when they've been trying to do that for such a long time?
yeah,
Like
I hear it.
I think clubs do try and do that, and there's always hiccups or something that affects it. So yeah. Charlie says, I think we have to hit January hard. Opportunities like this to guarantee Champions League football or even reach for a title race don't come along. I hate to see us rest with what we've got and it costs us. I agree. I really want to see us attack it.
Yeah, be aggressive.
I just hope we're really in the position to do that. Over the last 2 years, we spent around 100 million. Is it like in 4 windows? Is it in that account to that much? I think.
And this is what
with sales
Sorry,
included. No, go on, bro.
what I was going to say. Sorry, is back to our old podcast where we were saying like what we think is going to happen with Tim. Like these are the kind of things where I just feel, unfortunately, like FFP, like pure profit might need to be raised, and we might see like a deal struck with a buyback clause. I mean, I saw John Townley saying the other day that he thinks Tim might be off in January. So yeah, man, unfortunate, but I think this could be the possibility, man.
I think if a significant offer comes in for Tim, he goes. I feel that happens. I know he was injured and he hasn't had the opportunity to play in Europe because he was not registered. Yeah. I'd have thought he'd have got minutes within the league since he's been back, and he hasn't done so as of yet. So I do think, with the model we've had and the likes of Archer, Jaden, Ramsey going and inserting buyback clauses, I think I could quite easily see Tim going as well, and possibly when Finn Aziz and Kane Kessler-Hayden, I can see similar things happening with those guys as well. Colin says, would love Tony as well, but we all know Unai will not pay a cent more than what he thinks we should pay. Love that about him. Yeah. And Unai's got all his people in now, and they'll have spoke about this, and they'll have their targets in mind. And
you'd assume you see some action from the Spanish league, considering that you'd assume we'd see some action, players coming from the Spanish league, considering Benito, the scout, that he was like specifically told to like scout La Liga and stuff like that. So
yeah, in fact, Charlie's made a good point as well. I think the reverse of that too is Tim is in the position in his career we need a stable club with guaranteed minutes. Loans mean nothing to him now. Got to be mean to be kind. I agree, and I think a number of the players we sold in the summer made that decision as well. I know Jaden wanted first team football, Cameron Archer wanted first team football, and they made the decision. Aaron Ramsey, first team football. Okay, Aaron Ramsey's not getting it currently, but Cameron Archer and Philogene are getting it, and they're becoming pivotal players for the clubs they've signed for, and that's because they wanted to go out and play first team football. So yeah, I can see a number of other youngsters that have come through having the same mindset, and the club also be willing to part with them due to FFP and trying to balance the balls.
Like it's mad. Tim was coming on against Brighton on the 26th of Feb in 2022. I mean, like we're only 2 months away from that being like 2 years. So what our loans aren't really going to do too much when we need to be playing 90 minutes. I rate him. I think he's a quality player. I saw little things where he's receiving the ball and stuff, and it's a shame because I do think that he could have come on and just had a few appearances. It's a shame that he wasn't registered for the Conference League. I thought he would have got game time there, but it's what it is, man. It's what it is. Like Charlie said, be mean to be kind. Maybe it could be. Maybe he might be thinking, I need to go and just play football.
That's what I think. Yeah, I agree. I think the players are thinking that, and they know they'll start play first in football, whether that's at a high championship club or the lower levels of the Premier League or even abroad. We've seen so many players go abroad now and play football. So yeah, I agree, bro. Anything else?
Yeah, just what Michael's comment is there. I think that's an interesting point.
Michael stated, if we do sign anyone in January, it must be quality players who are ready for first team and not bench players. Yeah, I think that's the way in which you develop a strong squad. You sign people to, replace people in the squad, and that's how you form competition. So you sign them with the intention of replacing them, and then so take Bailey and Diaby, for instance. Diaby was signed to be, the guy, and instead it's forced Bailey to step his game up, and
Facts.
and so now that's how you want your squad to be set up. So yeah, I agree. I think if you're signing players, you want them to be first team. You want
Yeah.
to envision them being first team starters, and the players whose position they're taking, they then step up, and then you have real competition and quality in the squad. Yeah.
Like
Um,
your stars become your bench players. Like that. That's the mantra for how you're supposed to build. I do
or
think it's
or
interesting
your
though. If
bench
Lenglet does
players
go,
become better than. Yeah.
yeah, or your bench players come better. I do think it's interesting. If Lenglet does go, do we just get in another similar passing centre back on loan, or do we
Mm,
just like bring in someone young that we want to challenge Power in the future? Like, I wonder how we
yeah,
would
that would be.
look at that.
Yeah,
Depends about
that'll be
money, doesn't it?
interesting
It depends
because
how much money there is.
that's the thing. And the Lenglet murmurs have been around for a while, and I know it's only gossip pages and columns and stuff, but the murmurs of Lenglet returning to Barca to go somewhere else, whether it be Bayern or AC Milan, um, they've been going around. I've seen something today that they're saying it's in Villa's hands, the decision if Villa want to, terminate the loan early. Um, yeah, it's in Villa's hands, and Villa have the decision. I don't know. I don't know. I'd like to keep him. I think the club. I don't see why the club would want to get rid of him unless, Lenglet's adamant he wants to leave, and then you have an unhappy player in your hands. But
Yeah, I think
we
that's
were
what it would
willing to
be.
we were willing to pay the loan fee, which wasn't cheap at all. So, and when he's had to step in, he's been very good, and he's fulfilled that role. So, yeah, potentially it's Lenglet. I know maybe what he sees himself, he goes to AC Milan, Bayern Munich. He has the chance to play Champions League football as well as possibly a long shot getting into the Euro squad for France. So yeah. Michael also says, and that's why I don't think much action will happen in January. Yeah, it's a great point, Michael. It's a great point. Anyway, I think that's it, bro.
Do you want to
Anything
answer
else?
Charlie's question? Answer Charlie's question there, or
Okay. With all the talk about centre backs and having to go to buy again, where do we see Mings fitting back into the picture next season? Part of the difficulty in that market is knowing he's there to come back. Yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
okay, I'll say it like this. My whole thing is, I think now with the way Emery wants to play, you have to have a left footer as your left centre back and a right footer as your right centre back. Because if you ever notice when Konsa's on the ball, Carlos is on the ball, the pass always goes out to the touchline, say where the right back is. So
Yeah,
that suits someone that's right footed. If you notice Powell, his passes will sometimes go to the fullback where either Moreno or Dino is. So that suits a left footer. So then that's the next question is, do I think Mings is better than Pau Torres? I don't. I think Pau Torres is the better player. I think he's better at passing. I think he's better at carrying. Mings is more of an athlete, but I do think Pau's the better footballer. So I think when Mings is fully fit, I think he'd have to work to get back in the team. I wouldn't see him ever coming straight back in. I think Pau, Carlos Konsa would be the strongest options. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that. Don't know what you think
yeah,
about that.
yeah. Firstly, you have to see how he reacts to the injury and when he does come back. But right now, yeah, I agree. The centre back partnership and Konza as that right centre back, right back. I think yeah, that's how it is. But then you just have to wait and yeah, exactly as Marcus says, Mings could take a year and a half to
Yeah,
get
might
fit.
not be the
Exactly.
same. Might not be the same.
Yeah, exactly. So you have to see what condition Mings is when he returns and if he's, back to the level he was before he got injured, which I'm sure he will be because he's come back from this previously,
But
this temporary injury.
I just see some Villa fans saying, why not two left footers? I just think the angles you receive the ball in, it's uncomfortable, man. I mean, on a lesser extent, we used to see Courtney House when he used to play right centre back and he's receiving the ball as a left footer and he's awkward, his body's all wrong and it would just take too long. And I just don't think it's better than the option of having Carlos at right centre back who's already just
Yeah,
looks so
facts.
comfortable in those positions.
Yeah, Marcus said best wishes to him, facts. And you've seen the videos of him showing his rehabilitation. He looks horrendous, man. I watched a video of Neymar as well, with his ACL
Oh, the
rehabilitation and
Neymar ones are
the pain, the
crazy.
pain, the pain he has to go through just for them to like maneuver his leg into a position just to get the muscles used to the movement. Yeah, it looks just
Yeah,
wouldn't
I
wish it on
feel for
anyone,
Ney.
man. The pain that they have to endure is just horrendous. So
Yeah.
it's good to see Mings in the building in Bodymore Heath and doing his rehabilitation, and I hope he's around the players as well, and doesn't isolate himself, because he's part of the team as well as Emi Buendia. And it's nice when you see Emi Buendia when he was with Watkins the other day coming back in from the tunnel after the game and stuff like that. It's really good to see that they're still included in the squad, because they helped us get into this position last year for sure.
Wendy is another mad one. Like, where does he fit in when he comes back? Is he going to be the same player after the injury, man? It's always a lot. Emery's going to have to. That's why he's the manager, man. That's why he gets paid so much. He's got to make these decisions. So,
yeah, Andy says balances everything. I agree. One thing I want to say is, when you see two left-footed centre backs, is it an illusion because you're not used to seeing it more than
I don't think so.
Body positioning, or is it because players are never used to playing against insides that have two left centre backs, so they're not used to receiving the ball at those? As Charlie says, an entire game is built around the angles of centre backs receive. Carla's central progression doesn't with a left footer, because the angles aren't there. So are the players just not used to playing at those angles because of it's very rare to have two left-footed centre backs, where it's quite common to have two right-footed centre backs.
The first thing, I think it's very rare because managers know. I think managers genuinely know, like, just don't play two left-footed. The angles, it just. Speaking of someone that's left-footed as well, I've never played to the level of the professional game. Like, I'm putting it out there now. But like, even if I was on the wrong side and I was receiving like that, and I've got to receive on my right foot and play it out like that, it's uncomfortable, man. Like, we saw House struggled, and I know House isn't on the level of like Carlos or anything like that, or like a Pau Torres, but you struggle, man. Yeah. I just think managers avoid less left-footed players as well. That's another thing. But yeah, I think Pau and Carlos is the one, man, at the moment.
Yeah, of course it is. Sitting joint second in the league with that partnership. Mark says, important we show the love to our injured players. Facts. Agree with that.
Well, we've seen the songs.
And I remember early days. Yeah, and they get the renditions at games, really get involved with it. And he said, I remember early days, Unai said that he wanted two quality players in each position. It's good competition. Facts. And Charlie, left-footed high stand-up. Imagine Charlie's a left-footed player when
Charlie put some top corners at goals, man, at his local goal session, and that's all I've heard anyway. So.
Oh, good. Anyway, anything else you want to add? Any other news?
Nah, man, just excited for the game Friday, and just hope we can go top of the league. I'm looking forward to it, man. I think, as you said, the atmosphere is going to be good, so yeah, can't wait.
Great Christmas present, wouldn't it? Top of the league at Christmas. Could you imagine just going to your Christmas holidays with one of the happiest feelings? That's for sure. Thanks again, everyone, for joining. The names that have been here: Colin, Charlie, Andy, Michael. Really good conversation, debate.
Yeah, really
enjoy your comments.
Feedback,
and the comments that you provide. Anyone else watching, if you haven't managed to comment in the stream, if you want to drop a comment on the video as well, it'd be much appreciated. We love to interact with you guys. If you could like the stream, that'd be much appreciated. And if you're new here, drop us a subscription as well. We'd really appreciate that. Comments coming in. Colin, up the Villa. Michael, it's sold out. Yeah, it will be. Atmosphere will be rocking. Andy with the hearts. Thanks for joining us, Andy. Really appreciate it. Michael, great show. Really appreciate you joining as well, Michael. And Andy says, only just come across your channel. Glad you found us, Andy. And we provide these videos before games, after games as well. So thanks for joining us, and you've been really engaging and interactive.
We enjoy talking about. We love talking about Villa. Like, we enjoy it a lot, man. I can get my thoughts off here. And it's a lot easier when the team's doing well as well. It's a lot more enjoyable. So long may that just continue towards the end, man.
Facts. Rich says, love your stream, guys. Appreciate it, Rich. Thanks for joining us as well. Anyway, guys, that's it from us. 3 points on Friday. Top of the league. Up the Villa.